Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Boxer Boxing. Now, man, my boy Canelo Alvarez, man, he's trying to, as what people say, become two-time undisputed at 175, man. Now, Canelo Alvarez is undecided between who he wants to fight. He doesn't know if he wants to fight Dimitri Bivol and Triple G or Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez. Without all that being said, man, the people who think he's chasing legacy, they figure that he's going to fight Dimitri Bivol, Canelo Alvarez, that being him, Dimitri Bivol, Triple G, and then Brother Biev to become undisputed at light heavyweight. Now, me personally, man, before I get to that, or the fans, the people are saying the fans really want Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez to fight Canelo Alvarez to take that 2-fight deal for $100 million, right? Now, with that being said, man, the idea that Canelo Alvarez is gonna yo-yo up and down in weight from 168 to 175 to fight Dimitri Bivol first at 175, then go back down to fight Triple G, right? And then go back up to 175 to fight Brother Biev, it's dangerous. Canelo Alvarez is not in his 20s anymore. The guy's in his 30s, and yo-yoing up and down in weight doesn't seem like a good idea for Canelo Alvarez if he really wants the weight to stick on him and to mean anything. We want natural weight, we want muscles, and not just a steak in your stomach. We actually want natural weight that's going to stay on you. So Canelo Alvarez, while it sounds like a great idea for him to fight Dimitri Bivol and a Triple G and then fight Barry Biev, the chances of him going up and down in weight and up and down in weight again to fight, like I said earlier, go up to 178 because he's only been there one time, right? Do it again to fight Bivol, then go back down to 168 to fight Triple G, then go back up again to fight Barry Biev. That seems like a tough task, and it's not seeming like anything. The guy is 31 years old, and by the time all that will be done, he'll be 32, easy. If not 33 by then. So the fact of the matter is, Canelo Alvarez doing all that just to become undisputed, it seems highly unlikely, if not going to happen, just because all those big names back to back sound great, but I don't think there's ever been a run like that in boxing where people are just fighting only big names and don't really take damage. Canelo Alvarez, when he fought Liam Smith, I think, or it was 154. It was one of the Smith ones, one of the Smith guys. I think it was at 154 or 168, but he messed his hand. It was 154. Canelo Alvarez beat the guy, but he actually ended up hurting his hand, right? So that being said, Canelo Alvarez, he can be winning a fight and still hurt himself. So the idea that he's gonna fight Dimitri Bivol or Triple G and he just walks through those fighters, injury free, is highly unlikely. So there's a chance that Canelo Alvarez fighting those two guys, he's gonna have some damage and wear and tear in him, and he's gonna take another quote unquote ad nauseam, a fighter who's not the best of the best, but just to keep his feet wet, in between those big fights. So that's how I feel about it, man. I think people are jumping the gun with Canelo Alvarez becoming undisputed at 175, just by walking through Triple G and Bivol like it's nothing. I do think Canelo Alvarez, that those are wars, man. Those are wars. No one's gonna give it to him. He's gonna have to take it from these fighters, right? These are fighters that are, some people say Triple G won the first two fights. I thought that Canelo Alvarez would beat him, and tell you the truth, I thought Canelo Alvarez beat him easy the first two times, especially the second time. That was really shocking the way he beat him. But all that being said, man, Canelo Alvarez is trying to make history by becoming a two-time undisputed champion, and I do think it's good for boxing. But I do think that at the end of the day, some of the biggest fights in history weren't really about becoming undisputed. The Marvin Hagler versus Hitman Hearns wasn't a unification fight. It wasn't. It was just two fighters going at it, right? And it wasn't for undisputed. But people say that's the biggest fight in boxing history. The biggest middleweight fight in boxing history. So that being said, Canelo Alvarez, I think that these fights at 168 with Jermell Charlo and David Benavidez, those are more exciting fights, man. Those are fights that actually are these fights that will give him legacy fights. These are the fights we look back on and say, wow, this is why the Canelo is great, right? So with all that being said, man, we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out between Canelo Alvarez and when he picks. But me personally, the fights are actually gonna get him. People swear on God that this Bivol and Triple G thing's a legacy thing, but he's not doing anything. He'd just be a one division champion at light heavyweight if he gets the WBO title. Bivol only has one of the titles at light heavyweight. Dimitri Bivol is not a unified champion at light heavyweight. He's just not. So that being said, to say that he's trying to become undisputed as if it's already in the cards is just not the case, right? Understand that Dimitri Bivol only has a WBA title at 175. To try to predict Canelo Alvarez's future and to say that he's going to do A, B, and C when it's not in the contract is just speculation. We're talking facts, and the fact of the matter is Canelo Alvarez only losses at 154, right, to Floyd Money Mayweather, right? And then he fought Erislandy Lara. Many people thought he lost the fight to Erislandy Lara. I thought he lost the fight to Erislandy Lara too. So the biggest fighters are at 154, and they moved up in weight. A lot of these fighters have moved up. The Demetrius Andrade, Jermell Charlo, and then now at 160. And now these very same undefeated champions, they're going to 168, right? So that being said, these fighters are the fighters that are going to give Canelo Alvarez, the legacy fights. These are the fights that people really want to see. The David Benavidez's, the Jermell Charlos, the Demetrius Andrades. These fights have proven themselves. These fighters have proven themselves, not just over one weight class, but 2 of the 3 of them, this would be their 3rd weight class. They're proving themselves in, right? Demetrius Andrade, they're talking about him versus Dave Benavidez at 168. They're talking about Jermell Charlo. He's going to 168. Everyone's going to 168. So, these are the new face of dangerous fighters. People have been saying for years that who they fought, but at the same time, every time they stepped up and quote unquote stepped up, they passed with flying colors, right? For Jermell Charlo, it was Dmitry Danielchenko, right? He completely dominated him. Wasn't even a close fight. Controlled him on a jab the whole night. Wasn't close at all. And Demetrius Andrade, no one's ever even come near him as far as competition goes. He makes everyone look ordinary. So that being said, man, Demetrius Andrade actually at one point was supposed to fight Billy Joe Saunders. That was supposed to be his coming out fight, but Billy Joe Saunders got popped for PEDs, right? So he was supposed to prove himself against Billy Joe Saunders, but like I said, he got popped. So Demetrius Andrade, he just had a string of bad luck, and him going to 168, he's gonna have to get at least one big name on his resume, and he's definitely gonna do that for sure. So that's how I feel about it, though. While people will say that Canelo's chasing undisputed at light heavyweight, the truth of the matter is the fights that people are really gonna remember is the fight with Jermell Charlo and David Benavidez. Anyway, man, let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire, GeoBoxing Empire. Peace. GeoBoxing Empire.